what I want to do today is just show you the MCP inspector and the, um, let's see here, yeah. So when you're developing MCP servers, the very first thing that you find out is you need um, some reference servers to see how they're actually built. And, because you've got the spec, you can go to the MC model context protocol.io and read the spec and see all of the good stuff that it supports. And that'll get you really excited. But then you're like, okay, how do I implement this? And you start out with a project, maybe you do something, like Ebony did there with a fast MCP, and you got a nice little quick start thing. But however you go about it, you're gonna start realizing, like, as you get deeper into it, like, if I want to do sampling, if I want to do elicitation, if I want to do, like features like subscribable resources or things like that, how do I do it? How does, if I'm just doing it with the TypeScript SDK or Java SDK or whatever MCP SDK that we're using, there are packages built on top of those that make it even easier. But however, you need to know how to implement the things. And then as you're implementing the things on your own with your own server, you need to be able to test them and see if, sanity check. Is it sending the right stuff? Does stuff come in, when I send stuff in, am I handling it right? And all of that. So that's what the MCP inspector is for. And we'll throw out a link to the repo where the MCP inspector lives. There is a repository where you can get it. There's an npm package. So if you have Node installed, you can just do npx at model context protocol / inspector and run it. And launch it that way. You don't have to clone the repo and locally and build it and run it. If you want to, you can. It'll give you a great insight into how the client side of MCP works. It's a nice open source client. And there's another repo here that a server's repo. I'm running we have a reference server called Everything, and that's kind of the everything in the kitchen sink. We try to implement all of the features of the protocol in this one server. It's kind of crazy, and I don't know what percentage of everything we actually have implemented there. We're constantly trying to get to 100, but we'll see.
It reminds me of an everything bagel.
Yes, yes. And from that,
Overwhelming.
the everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Uh, that's what the everything server is. And so in the background here, I have launched the inspector from my local instance of it, and I have also launched the server, the everything server. We can dive into the code of that a little bit later, but um, I'll just go ahead and connect to it. And first thing that you see is a little toolbar here. We've got various things that you can look at. This is kind of silly, it being an actual tab all to itself. We're going to have to change that. But the primary things when people say MCP is just a wrapper for APIs, right? Why do we even need that? Well, it's not. There's more stuff to it, and the inspector kind of lays that out for you. And it's nice if you fire up the everything server and you fire up the inspector and have a look at it. You can see that MCP goes a little bit deeper. One of the things is resources, and minimize that thing here. Good out of the way. So here, the everything server has created some number of resources here that I could have. And a resource can be anything. It can be a blob, it can be text, it can be a dynamic construct. I have a server, the first MCP server I wrote had state machines operating inside of the server, and you sent commands and actions to them, and they changed state and so forth. And so that each state machine was a resource. And so clients could subscribe to that resource and see, okay, wow, the state of the state machine changed. So what a resource is anything you want it to be. If you can give it, if you can give it a URI of some sort that is unique and present it in the server, you've got a resource, and you can subscribe to it. That's this little dynamic, this button here that says subscribe. That is that lets me say, okay, if this resource changes, send me a notification. And we'll see a little notification coming up here in the everything server will sit here. If I have subscriptions, it'll send me a little notification saying, hey, this resource you subscribe to is updated. It's simulating that the resource has changed just to show you how that works. And I can say, let's unsubscribe. And then those updated messages will stop. That's just one part of resources. And you can have a resource template where you can say, okay, well, this was resource number one. I've got a resource template where I can put in the resource ID and read that particular resource. I don't have to get the list and then choose it. If there's a template, then I can put in some parameters into a template in order to fetch that resource. So that's kind of how resources are. Prompts work kind of similarly. You can say, okay, I've got a prompt, and a prompt is going to be a client may need, your server may want to provide various prompts that are related to the functionality that it provides. And so let's say that you have a server that is for maintaining spreadsheets, right? Or office documents, you know. So you might have a prompt that tells you to, that is a way of telling the server, hey, tabulate all of, column A and, give me a result. So that if the user does that a lot, especially if it's more complex, it's better to go ahead and not make the user have to figure out how to type in the words and, engineer their prompt to be wonderful. You can provide a stable of prompts that are great for working with the stuff that your server provides. And so here you can have a prompt that says, this is just, I think, really not sure what it's wanting here, what this prompt is wanting here. Okay, so here is,
this is really a prompt template, right? Like the idea is that you can essentially you don't have to feed in these array of messages every single time. You can very quickly get them, and they're parameterized with some of the arguments to construct them based on the temperature that you entered or the style that you mentioned.
Yes, exactly. If you're usually if people are tabulating columns often, and the only thing that you need to know is which column, then you could say a prompt that says, please tally all the numbers in column, and then a parameter. And then so you present that prompt, you present a UI to the user that collects that parameter, says which column would you like to tabulate?
Right.
And then it fills in the prompt and then sends that to the LLM. And so then the LLM goes, oh, okay, well, I'm going to call the tool the tabulate tool. And I'm going to pass it the column that is in this prompt and so forth.
Right.
So that way, it's just much easier on the user. And you can have a prompt that has a resource associated with it. So
This is, I guess, similar to an attachment that like I attach a PDF to a prompt or something like that.
exactly. Previously in the resources section, we saw that there are a number of resources that this server provides. And here is a particular resource number one. And that could be, it might not be a resource ID, it might be a file name or something like that, so that you could say, hey, can you summarize the profit and loss and tell me whether my company's going to live through this next quarter, or whatever. And so it would then get the profit and loss resource, a report that your server exposes as a resource, and stick that into the prompt that's going to the LLM. So
Nice.
yeah, prompts are you could a simple prompt can just be hey. Just words. That's it. Just send this to the LLM. That's not super useful, but definitely prompts with arguments and prompts that include resources give us a really great way of being able to simplify the business of having a user be able to say, hey, I want to give you certain information, some of which may be fixed resources that we have access to, and then, just do the thing with it.
Yeah.
Right, without having to be a prompt engineer and possibly have it work better or worse depending upon how much effort they put into the prompt. If the server engineer can engineer this prompt to be optimal
Right.
for how it works. So that's resources and prompts. Already we're seeing that MCP is more than just an API wrapper, right? We're just now getting the tools. So the server exposes a bunch of tools, and I'm just going to clear some of these notifications here. And some simple tools that just let you say, hey, echo back this message here, or the classic one that Ebony showed. Let's add two numbers. All right. A long-running operation. Here's the thing. When you have a long-running operation, you might want to get notifications about the progress, right? Which could then be used to show a progress bar. Out of a total of 5, we're 4 along, or we're 3 along, or we're 2 along, or whatever like that. So in that way, you can give the client some hints about, how much time is left. And, hopefully, I did a Windows 11 upgrade in a VM yesterday and saw that they still have that wonderful thing where it says it'll be about 15 minutes, it'll be about an hour and it'll be about 3 hours. It just keeps getting longer and longer.
Now, Cliff,
Hopefully you don't have that.
I'm curious, what are like some pieces of the inspector that people are not familiar with that you wish people were more familiar with, or things that like it can do that are like that may be pleasant surprises for folks who are building MCPs?
Well, a couple of features that are not okay. So tools are obviously there. A feature that isn't implemented very often that's really cool and people need to be aware of, and we need to, client developers need to get on the bandwagon and support this, and server developers need to be able to use it as elicitation. And with elicitation, you can run a tool, but then that tool gets along at a certain point. It says, hey, I need a little input from the user here before I can go forward. Whoa, got a little error there. Oh, that's probably because I've got a timeout that's it's not. Let me throw some, let me throw some more time on there. Right. Things timeout there in the inspector. So let's go back to tools. Let's go to elicitation. This is a tool that starts elicitation. So if I run the tool, first thing it does is go, hey, I need to grab some information from the user here. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite number? And what kind of pets do you like? I have 5 cats right now, so I'm going to say cats. And I'm going to submit that. Okay, so at this point, the tool has enough information to complete its job. And it has come back and said, okay, well, the user's favorites are this and so forth. And here's the actual raw content that came back. So
That's very cool. Like, so I just want to point out to folks that like basically this tool was paused at that point, right? While the form was shown. I was waiting for you to provide input before it proceeded execution.
Exactly. So, and now the LLM could have chosen that tool. It could
Yeah.
be, you could have provided a prompt and the LLM is chugging along and it's going, okay, I've called tool A, tool B, tool C. Oh, but right now I need to call tool D. And tool D is going, oh, okay, cool, but I need to talk to the user first.
Mhm.
So it's looping you in, right? This is not, I mean, just because we invoke the tool from this thing is, I want to make it clear that this can be part of an LLM's, part of a agentic workflow, at which point the tool can decide, hey, I need the user to provide a little bit of input here. And that can be things like, hey, I'm getting ready to, I've collected all this information and maybe you want to review it first. This is what we've come up with. Is this good? We're going to go ahead and write this document, and then we're going to move ahead with the rest of the plan, which is kind of, we don't want to move on until we're sure that we have a good plan in place, right?
We're
So
eliciting user input. And yeah.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
super important thing for.
Sorry to cut you off, Cliff, but
Yeah.
just in the interest of time, actually, I wanted to ask two things. One is
Mhm.
what's next for Inspector, and second, if someone wanted to like get involved and contribute, because this is an open source project, and you are like just like open like a maintainer of this project, and you're just contributing a ton of time, just making sure that the community is like has this tool available. How do people get involved?
So there's a couple of things, and you've got the link you can throw up there to the users with the servers repo and the inspector repo. There are a whole bunch of other repos involved uh, with the whole protocol project, and you can get into them from there. But coming in from my perspective, if you wanted to help with the inspector or the reference servers, like for instance, you got the everything server here, and you find out, oh, well, this is really cool, but there's this feature of the spec that isn't implemented. And I'd really like to put that in my server, but I don't see it. I don't see a way that I can see it tested so that I can feel confident moving forward with it. So you might go to the server's repo and just check out the everything, check out the repo, fork the repo, and then create a branch and add the feature, and then create a pull request to our repo. And you can tag me at Cliff Hall, and I'll have a look at it. Or otherwise, someone tending the farm will have a look at it. It's definitely not gonna disappear into the quagmire. Hopefully, a lot of people are putting in PRs to say, "Hey, put my server on the README." There's a massive list of repos.
Right.
Which, by the way, if you're looking for, hey, what are people doing with MCP servers anyway? What ones are out there? And I'd like to look at their code. Just go to the servers repo README and just look at the massive amount of official and community contributed servers that are out there, and you can just go trolling through the repos and see all of the code, and it's a great place. But sometimes it's hard to swim through all the PRs of getting onto that README to find oh, hey, I'm adding this feature, right? So
Right.
you might, if you're doing that, you might want to tag me directly just to say, hey, here's a feature, I need to get this going.
That's
And
awesome.
same with the inspector. But one thing I would like to point out, though, if you don't feel confident or ready to put the effort into, like, fork the repo and create a PR and put it in, and maybe or maybe not get it approved or go through the process. If you're not there yet, you can still help a ton by just going to the issues column of either of those repos or any of them in the project. You can go to the Model Context Protocol organization on GitHub and find all of our stuff. And find issues in the thing that you're interested in, like people complaining about this, that, or the other thing, saying, hey, I'd like to have this feature, whatever. Weigh in on it. Just hop in the comments and say, hey, yeah, I think that'd be a great feature, and this is why I think it would be good, to help upvote that feature request. Or hey, oh, I'm having that problem that you're saying too, and I tried this workaround, and it seems to work for me. Or, it used to work in this version, but it didn't. If you can add some elucidation to a person's issue, or maybe even go, oh, you just need to put in this little argument here, and it will work for you. You might be able to close an issue, and that is a form of help that doesn't require any kind of approval
Right.
or anything. You can just
So
get in
really
there and
just get
help.
involved in any way you can. And I just want
Absolutely.
to also point out, like, I think I see this as the debugger for MCP. Like, you can't really develop things in the MCP space without Inspector, and you've been like the leading edge of just making sure that we have this incredible tool available to us. And so I also wanted to thank you for all your contributions. And
Thank
I
you.
think so. Thank you so much for presenting this, and I'm sure folks can take a look there. Hania will share some links afterwards as well.